Trigger warning. This episode contains references to sexual abuse. On this week's episode of The Smoke Break, we talk with local comedian, MC, and facilitator Carlos Kareem Windham about shame and forgiveness. Episodes drop on Spotify every Sunday after they air and Wednesdays on YouTube.
And welcome to The Smoke Break. We're here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio. I'm your host, your old pal Zane, here with Malik Rayshawn.
Let's pop in.
Amanda Lynn Deal.
Hi, friends.
And comedian, activist, rapper, poet, entertainer extraordinaire, Carlos Kareem Windham.
Love it up.
Hey,
Turn me my cake.
That's right. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely. So I genuinely believe that I don't know everything, but there's something I learned from everyone, and you're the person I'm learning from this week. So please share your wisdom. This week we're talking about shame and vulnerability. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I got to catch you guys up. So I decided I was going to allegedly take hallucinogens and listen to self-help books.
Allegedly.
Okay. Which part is alleged? Who knows? Which part am I more embarrassed about?
Yeah. That's really high.
I like to listen to Brene Brown, and she does a lot of speaking about shame and vulnerability, right?
Love Brene.
Little did I know I was actually going to get a crash course on shame and vulnerability that very night.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ugh, okay. So I got a text message from a nice lady, and I was like, okay, cool. And she's like, oh, hey, you want to send some pictures? Here's the deal. I have sent one dick pic in my entire life. Yes, it went to Amanda. She requested it, and very solicited. The reason I'd never sent a dick pic is because I was afraid everyone would see it. Right?
Learning that your friends used to fuck in a podcast.
We try to keep the reactions realistic.
It's gonna do it.
Yeah. So I didn't want to send it because I didn't want everybody to see it. So she sends me back the dick pic with a mustache, googly eyes, and a rainbow afro on it. Right?
And a scarf.
It looks
good.
How did I forget? So I get this picture back and I'm losing it. I'm laughing. I'm just like, yo, I want everybody to see this pic, but I want everybody to see my dick. I made a post on Facebook, and Amanda posted that picture in the comments section with the caption, I'm going to leave this up until your grandma sad reacts to it.
How long did that take?
Before my grandma sad reacted to it? Not very long. It was actually up for an hour before I realized it. And I promptly deleted it. Wow. And there was, I'm friends with comedians, so obviously they were cracking jokes. Somebody said it looked like a rejected Veggie Tale. Like an adult version, right? Like the fruit cocktails. Dumb. And then somebody said it looked like a cross between Drake and Pickle Rick. Wow. So very embarrassing.
Wow.
Wait, is that a compliment? I don't know how to take that.
The accuracy. I can see it and I haven't seen it. Don't like that at all.
You're welcome. So you're all caught up. I'd never sent one. This person's like, yo, send me some videos, send me some pictures. And I was like, fuck it, feel it. So I sent them some videos. Right in the middle of it, they sent me a post that says, hey, so this is all going online. I'm going to send this to 200 of your female followers, and fuck your podcast, fuck everything. And I was like, yo, and like, I'm frying, right? So like, this is literally the last thing I need.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like literally not in a headspace to deal with it.
This conversation, this just happened.
This last Monday.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that was, it was very terrifying.
Requested dick and threatened with it.
Yes, exactly. All in the same time. So
all my girls are going through the same shit. Mm-hmm. Everybody is going through this.
See, but I didn't know that it was happening. I had no idea. You know what I mean?
I mean, the temperature in the water is this whole retrograde, like the shit you've been going through, the shit Dolly been through, everyone been going through, is getting me. Like, it's wild.
Yeah. So, well, what had happened was I had to, I panicked, right? So I called my dad, who I hadn't talked to since I came out as bi. So that was fun.
Okay.
And I explained to him, just a little closer to the mic. So I call my dad, I'm like, hey, so this is awkward. Can I borrow some money? Hadn't talked to him forever. That was really awkward. Then I had to ask my roommate's dad if I could borrow money.
Right.
Because they're just like, yo, send it now. Otherwise it's going to everybody, right? Okay. And you really don't realize how much of an ally you are until you spend $300 not to send unsolicited dick pics to all your friends.
Right.
So I definitely, I sent them the money, and then they're like, yo, we need more. And the more I thought about it, the more I really thought about, like, these people are preying on shame and vulnerability.
Yeah.
Like, I was vulnerable and they're going to shame me with that information.
Right.
And so I think, the first question I really want to ask about shame and vulnerability is have you ever tried to avoid shame just in any aspect?
Just a life of navigating, trying to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just I grew up in an even whiter environment than the Pacific Northwest, right?
How?
So Boulder, Colorado.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
92.
Damn.
92%. Right? This is so Pacific Northwest and specifically Portland, we're talking about like 87% white.
Sure.
So you get to 92.
Yeah, that's a different number.
Right. We invented Crocs. Okay. That kind
Denver.
of white. That kind of white. That's that kind of white. And you don't, as a black person growing up there, and I've seen this affect around here too.
Mhm.
And I recognize it when I see it, like in particular with the gang problems and the cross-lateral shootings.
Mm-hmm.
This thing of expressing stereotypes and hypermasculinity, and all of these ideas that are fed to us and recycled and perpetuated through the system, right? And then exhibiting those.
Mm-hmm.
To preemptively defend the idea of where you were born, added to that lying on top, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know if y'all do this, so you gotta let me know.
Okay.
But in Boulder, we don't just like put on some extra tough shit.
Yeah.
On top of that, you also have to say that you're from where your father's from.
Wow.
So every nigga was from New York. Every nigga was from Chicago.
Yeah.
Every nigga was from any place black people were from.
Yeah.
That's where we were from.
Yeah.
But I went to third grade with your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know you since kindergarten.
Right.
From New York when? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But that
well, I
whole
mean, especially
cycle.
like in white areas, I feel like we're trying to be, more black, or, like I always caught myself trying to be more black in like white areas when I was younger.
Yeah.
Because like I was shamed. Oh, you're too white. Oh, you're too this, you're too that,
Right.
and even like the masculinity thing, I always got bullied for that. So
Right.
It's like between all of these different areas, like shame has definitely been like a perpetuating factor in just like trying to control, trying to get it to manipulate us to be somebody who we may not necessarily be, because the perception is that we should be this way.
Well, we definitely aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And at the end of the day, like in particular, those tools those roles as assigned to black male perceived people is it, to live up to that is just a tool of white supremacy and a tool of patriarchy.
Absolutely.
And getting to the point of reclamation and being able to pull out from that.
Yeah.
Is a very, very, very long journey, but like that biorhythm of shame is still, it's still there, right?
Yeah.
And it shows up now. It happened with my daughter just yesterday, right?
Okay.
We were walking up the street, and there was a table, some artists who were there doing some beautiful visual work.
Sure.
Right? Pen work. I mean, they call it discovered art, street art, whatever now, like bullshit. It's
Right.
art. So these brothers are here doing art. Real dark dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The kind of dark I am in my head. Right? Like in my head, Don Cheadle is light skinned. You know what I mean? I'm darker than Wesley Snipes. You know what I'm saying? You laughing too much. So they authentically this dark. And so we walking past, and homeboy calls me over, and he's like, yo, check this out. And he's showing me this piece. And it's a piece he had done of Basquiat, of Jean-Michel Basquiat, that was based on the shirt that I happened to be, the photograph on the shirt that I happened to be wearing at the time, right? And homeboy just was like, yo, this is you. This is yours. You walking with this, right? I'm like, I got no cash, whatever. He's like, nah, it's good. I was like, listen, put your Cash App on the back. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you because this is dope. This is real shit, absolutely, right? We walked away, and my daughter says, yeah, I didn't know those guys were gonna be that nice.
Yep.
And I said, yeah, I do racism in my head too.
Yeah, yeah, and I think
I'll cross the street.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. No, and I think that's a really important thing to bring up, just especially in our community, is that there are those preconceived notions that even we ourselves get. You know what I mean? I try not to judge white people who cross the street because I have also crossed the street where I'm like, it's dark, man. I'm not fucking taking chances.
I'll judge them.
Exactly. What are you doing?
I'll give you a break. Fuck that.
What about you guys, Amanda? Women shame probably doesn't intersect.
Oh, not at all. We're always told that everything we do is fine, and it doesn't matter what men think. So it's been a really easy life.
Good. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Malik.
As chunks of my body are falling out of my body, and I want to tell everyone.
Body is acceptable. It never needs to be changed.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've always been a loud, hairy, sassy broad, so I'm not not new to scaring people away, specifically insecure men. And I grew up religious, so that's all based around shame. Especially with women, it's like we don't have anything to do except have babies, and we can't enjoy sex, all that fun stuff. So I don't know. There's something really fun with not giving a fuck, and I think it takes you have to give a lot of fucks and have your heart broken a lot before you stop giving them so freely, and you're just like, I don't care. And I think being yourself is a great people filter. So
yeah, definitely. I
see you and love you, and people who don't keep fucking walking.
Well, and I think real quick before I get over to Malik, the thing that was almost so. I had made a post and I was like, hey, really sorry about this. If this gets sent out, I genuinely apologize. And the amount of comments that I got, I was expecting everyone to be like, you fucking idiots, you should, shame. I was expecting shame when I gave vulnerability. And what I was actually met with was a lot of people understanding and being like, hey, you didn't do anything wrong. Your heart was in the right place. It was a consenting adult. You did everything. You did everything. And then the other half was chicks who were like, yo, where's that pic at? And so I'm just saying vulnerability is very rewarding sometimes.
Now some people are like, I hope I'm on the list of people that get
for real. I was just like, all right, well, I mean,
Flip side, you're a celebrity now.
Hey. I guess I'm worth blackmailing. Malik, what about you? Shame, vulnerability.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm definitely connecting to a time when I was much younger, and I had zero understanding of what it meant to be a black person as a kid, absolutely none. So all I knew is that this is how most kids are, so I should try to be like that. And I think in the pursuit of that, and it's the popular, the athletes, the party,
the funny,
the people that are good at things, they get attention, and it's because they're white and conventionally attractive,
Right.
Captain of the football team type shit. You don't get to be that if you're some Puerto Rican, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think, without even allowing myself to at first feel the shame of not being okay with who I am, it was immediately just okay, well, let me try to be them. And then when I couldn't be them, then I felt ashamed.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because my own sense of self wasn't as important, but if they don't fuck with me, then it affects me at that point.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I made it out of that, but at a certain point it kind of just became to me, the only reason that shame can exist is if something is objectively wrong. If I were to punch Zayn in the face right now,
who would say that's objectively wrong?
I mean,
you know what I mean?
With this whole dick pic thing going around, I don't know.
You'd definitely be piling on at the very least.
But there's acts that we can do that are objectively wrong, where we probably should feel a little bit of shame for that.
Absolutely. And I think it's room for it creates a possibility for growth. There are certain things you should feel bad about, so that way they don't happen again.
You should be ashamed of harming people, for no reason, like punching Zayn. But you shouldn't be ashamed for being who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do I want to punch Zayn? We have to stop using that example.
Sounds better and better the more you say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's sip off.
Is this how peer pressure happens?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take a fist to the face. We're going to take a real quick commercial break, and I'll be right back with a black eye on the smoke break.
Wednesday evenings at 9 p.m. Come explore the spaces between friends. DJ 1017 takes you into a universe unlike any other. From Pink Floyd to the Flaming Lips and anything else interstellar. The spaces between friends with DJ 1017. Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Come explore with us here on Shady Pines Radio.
And we are back with the smoke break. We're here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio. I'm your host, your old pal Zane.
I was talking during the break.
We're here with the very self-aware Carlos. We're here with Malik Rayshawn and Amanda Lindio.
Hey, friends.
All right, awesome. So, vulnerability. I feel like we can kind of connect the two. As far as like vulnerability, apologizing goes into that, right? So I apologize. Hopefully, anybody who has, either done legit wrong or perceived wrong has apologized. Apologizing's hard, right? It's very difficult. It's being vulnerable and being like, I made a mistake. Not everybody can do it. What do you think is the best way to go about apologizing?
Just don't.
Just don't.
Yep.
Just don't.
You can never do it wrong if you never do it.
Malik, that's terrible advice.
That's great advice. Clip it. We're gonna start with you, Carlos, because I feel like you might have better ideas.
If at first you don't succeed, this whole
what do you think like a sincere apology looks like?
Honestly, I think I think that if it is sincere, it's accountability.
Yep.
Right. It's not an apology.
Mm-hmm.
Right. An apology is that only serves the person who created the harm. Truly.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
To like get off their chest to try to like get their ticket to heaven or whatever it is they're trying to get out of that.
Because they feel bad.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to feel bad no more. I need forgiveness and absolution. Right.
For sure.
So when a person is able to truly be accountable, meaning, listen, I know what I did. Let me talk very clearly, right? When I have as a person,
sure,
right? So I had to, oh my God, my bandmate Aaron Wallace. So embarrassing. Years ago. So I grew up watching basketball. Okay.
Same.
It was the masculine way that I could talk to my father.
Sure.
And the Lakers were our team.
Yeah, same.
You know where this is going. So in the defense of laundry, I maybe defended Rapiste a little too hard.
Rapiste. I don't know anything about football. What are we talking
that
about?
That would be a rapist.
Okay, gotcha.
In one Kobe Bryant, and was defending far too hard the idea that, well, but it was Colorado and white girls in Colorado always be making up shit and blah, 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 which is true.
Sure.
Which is true,
Sure.
but was not true in that circumstance.
Yeah.
Right.
When he raped her. So I really, I was doing a public facilitation, and as I was talking about it, realized what I had been doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I started weeping in the thing and was like, okay, I'm telling you, we need to get better. And then had to go and have that brunch where I was like, okay, you know what I did?
Yeah.
That was fucked up. I know you already know, but I want you to know that I know.
Yeah.
That was fucked, and I'm off that.
Yeah.
And then a nigga got killed in a helicopter crash, and now you're not supposed to say that, but it's still true.
Yeah.
but yeah, that was like
that was a situation where you found yourself on the wrong side of something because you didn't have all the information, and once you had all the information to make a better decision.
I had the black information.
Absolutely.
I'm from the generation of I was literally one of the 18-year-olds defending OJ. Okay,
Yeah.
I was on the wrong side of a lot of shit.
Sure.
Behind fuck these white people.
Yeah.
So when what's his name? Reginald Denny took a brick to the head during the LA riots, right? I was kind of like, get him! So I've been healing. Been healing. It
Absolutely.
took a long time.
That's awesome. No, I think that's really important. And being able to realize that you aren't, you're not sharing from a place of compassion, that you aren't coming from a place of having all the information or being your best self and being able to authentically take accountability for that. Not just apologize. I think apologize is really surface level. Like you said, it's really just like, I'm sorry, are we good? Like I said the thing, are we?
My bad.
Yeah, my bad. So yeah, I think that's really important that you were able to have that growth, and still be like the activist that you are. You know what I mean? And I think that's important for activists to recognize that like we haven't always been perfect. Sometimes it takes being not the person you want to be to figure out what the ills that you want to heal in society.
I'll say too, it's really easy sometimes for. For example, like you grew up watching basketball. That's how you communicated with your parent, and I think that when we have those like emotional relationships with spaces and people, or even just the people in those spaces, it's hard sometimes not to be like, well, yeah, but like he made Man in the Mirror. So
yeah.
So you know what I mean? It's like I definitely feel where you're coming from. I still am having some internal dialogue with Michael Jackson. I'll figure it out. But, man,
Girl.
And when you do,
You watch The Thing?
both of them, all of them, all the
You watched
things.
it, and see, that was I'm with you. I'm with you, right? I'm with you to the. I'm with you. Okay, I was groomed by Michael, right? Like, name a song up until about Blood on the Dance Floor, and I got you bar for bar, right? I after watching the Neverland thing. Which I knew.
Yeah, we kind of knew. We didn't want to talk about it. Yeah,
I knew. Right. I like, and it's still no good. Right. This is good. This is shitty. Okay, so here's some shame. I will still listen to Michael, but
I don't think it's shame for listening.
It gotta be after he was off of Epic. Okay. And before Thriller. So really.
That was a small window.
It's off the wall. I can listen to Off the Wall and the Destiny record. That's about it. Maybe the Triumph record.
Yeah.
Right? With his brothers, right? But only because every other time all I can hear is like a belt slapping on his back.
Yeah,
right?
a Payne's child or somebody who's harming children.
Or somebody like, if they drink the Jesus juice, I just want to look at the booty hole. Like, it's like, but I feel you. It's hard to let go of, right? Because
it's like at a certain point, you know what it's like, and this is gonna get me into what I'm thinking about with forgiveness.
Okay.
It's like defending the toxic uncle or auntie where you're like, I know they're wildin', but hear me out.
Right.
This is what they're going through. This is what I know about them that's allowing me to excuse this behavior. So like, you please enable it too.
Right.
Kanye West.
Yeah.
White Lives Matter. Let's get into it.
Yeah. So I think forgiveness, once you make an apology, you take accountability. Forgiveness is the second step, right? Accountability is on one side, forgiveness is on the other. And whether or not we decide to forgive somebody for something is entirely up to us, But in order for that to happen, I feel like there's probably some steps that we need to take. So forgiving people. Are you quick to forgive, Amanda?
The word I'm sorry, or the phrase I'm sorry, like Carlos was saying, I think it is more for the person saying it to get it off their chest. But I have a big issue with it because I've been with people, my last boyfriend, not Zane, but my last boyfriend.
Thanks for clarifying.
You're welcome. Would say sorry a lot and then repeat patterns. And that is like, sorry, an actual apology is changed behavior. You can say you're sorry, but if you're doing it 100 times, you're not actually sorry because you don't care that you're hurting me. You just want to feel better and do it again and then feel better, do it again. And then The only way to really say you're sorry is to change your behavior. You have to feel bad enough to not want to harm that person in that same way ever again.
Absolutely.
And you learn and you grow, and then you have a better relationship. But being stuck in those patterns is just bullshit. A lot of people just say sorry so you're not mad at them anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So I will be fucking mad if I hear sorry with no change of behavior.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
only way I'll accept it is if I see, I see you. You're not doing that. You're being more mindful with your words.
Exactly.
You're thinking about me before you do dumb shit.
Yeah.
So
And then apologize.
yeah.
And I thought about you before I did this dumb shit, and then I apologize. Yeah, absolutely. Malik, what about you? Are you quick to forgive? Does it take a little bit extra? What do you need to see?
It depends. It depends on my relationship with the person. It depends on the context. I think it's a lot easier for me to forgive people that have nothing to do with me, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Which is why when it comes to artistry, musicians I grew up on and whatever, it's easier for me to be like, oh no, well actually, like I have a lot of complex feelings towards it versus like, I'll give you an example. I have someone I used to be friends with that I recently discovered and accepted is likely a serial rapist.
Jesus.
Yeah. And it's like, forgiveness and acceptance look really different for me. So like I find myself forgiving people that have nothing to do with me and more just accepting people around me. It's like, you're not where I need you to be, or you're harmful for me to be around. And it's just going to be like that.
Yeah.
I don't hold a grudge against you, but I know you're not for me.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to protect myself.
So part of your forgiveness is setting boundaries with people that like you don't have space for. Like you can have compassion for maybe their situation, but like not enough to enable it, in any capacity.
I can have compassion from afar, and I can accept their shortcomings without enabling them or dealing with them.
Yeah, absolutely. So like Kanye was an example that got brought up. I feel like we've forgiven Kanye
enough.
Yeah.
I've forgiven Kanye. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to group everybody together.
Wait, Amanda, did you forgive Kanye? I know that's important.
Oh, I don't give a fuck. I just ain't forgiving that rapist friend of yours.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill that dude.
It's gonna take some time.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I definitely think that there's things that are unforgivable. You know what I mean? Like
Serial before the word rapist is.
yeah, exactly.
Nail
Like
in
the
a
one
coffin
time,
right there.
the one time rapist is definitely a bad thing, but serial definitely makes it exponentially worse.
That
Even
person's
just
not learning a
saying
lesson.
those two words back to back feels like I did something wrong.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
those two words.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there's definitely things that, and I think this is important about forgiveness, is that like we do have to set boundaries on things that we will not forgive. There
Yeah.
are certain behaviors that like if you engage in this, especially multiple times, like I don't have a place for you in my life. You
Yeah.
know, if you don't realize you're making a mistake, then I can't really hold you accountable for having made that mistake. Once you are aware that you're making a mistake, then it becomes your responsibility to fix that.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So forgiveness is a really tricky thing. And like for example, like Kanye, like he made some comments before, the MAGA hat, and I was kind of like, I mean, he's got bipolar, so I have bipolar. I've never worn a MAGA hat, but
Right.
Yeah, well, people also say he's like trolling really hard, so he's like, leaning into that, which I don't.
It's hard to tell where does the character start and end.
Yeah, and then at what point are you not just also kind of being an asshole?
Yeah, exactly.
Trolls
Well-
aren't like fucking heroes.
Well, it's like the equivalent of comedians who say fucked up shit and are just like, oh, I'm just trolling, and it's just like, well, I mean, you're just finding a way to get away with saying fucked up shit.
right.
You know
People
what
do
I
that all
mean?
the time and then say I'm kidding.
Yeah.
That's how they get away with doing and saying
hold
awful
on
things.
to like the idea of freedom of speech, but we also need to be aware of like freedom of reaction. Like,
Yes.
if you're not funny, if you hurt my feelings, I can say fuck you and tell all my friends not to listen.
Yeah.
That's my prerogative.
Yeah.
You don't have to listen to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think freedom of reaction is a really good thing to bring up because a lot of people think that because they have the freedom to say anything they want, they have
not
the
allowed to be offended
they're
or
not. You're not allowed to feel your own feelings about it.
That
House, wait.
House, wait. That makes me think of this artist. I won't say who, but he put out an album and it did like an eighth of the numbers that the previous project did, and people were like, oh, like he's being blackballed. Oh, and it's like, well, if your shit's just not selling, why are you going to argue about why? Just recognize that you're not doing as good and take inventory. Like, what are you doing different now than you were then?
Yeah.
Did you say something you weren't supposed to say? Did you piss off a community of people?
Yeah.
Are you innovating?
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, cool. So we are going to take a real quick commercial break and we'll be right back with the Smoke Break. We're here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio, as well as Pretty Dope Experience Radio.
Patches, come here, boy. I love Patches, and that's why I love Patch Dog.
Hey, Dad, were you calling me?
No, I was calling the dog Patches.
Yes, Father?
Oh, not you, honey. Patch Dog makes custom iron-on embroidery patches. I can give them my design, and in a couple weeks, I've got custom patches. They can be of my daughter Patches, my son Patches Jr., or even my dog Patches.
Yes, dear.
No, that's Patches, my wife. I'm just making a commercial. And because Patch Dog loves you so much, use the code SPR10 for a 10% discount.
Yay.
And you know they've got that free domestic shipping. For more information, check out patch.dog and fall in love with Patches like me.
Did you
Yes,
call me?
dear.
No, I'm making a commercial for Patch Dog. Patch Dog.
And we are back with the Smoke Break. We are here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio. I'm your host, your old pal Zane, here with Malik Rayshawn,
Yo.
Amanda Lynn Deal,
Hi, friends.
and Carlos Kareem Windham.
I just like the way y'all rebuilt Stonewall.
Brick for brick. Brick for brick.
Brick.
Yeah, I painted each one of these individually. So
Thank you. That
Absolutely.
makes me feel
It's for the culture.
comfortable.
It's for the culture.
Culture.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I supervised, so every time he got off task, I was like, Zane,
Yeah.
Get on it. Get
Yeah,
on.
absolutely.
More rainbows. Can't get free without them.
So every week we do the joke break, which we have just properly introduced,
Yes.
where we ask a question from the game called Let's Get Real, Bro. And this week's question is,
Real, bro.
what's the most challenging thing you're dealing with in life right now?
Oh boy.
Make it funny, motherfuckers.
Yeah. I can go first if no one wants to.
Yeah, please.
I know it's a heavy one. I'm kind of going through a transition of I've been broken up with someone. They still live with me. I need them out of my space, and in the because that's difficult for this person and for me in different ways. But also like that weird eclipse and overlap of like kind of getting my heart broken again, but also being with someone who's like
Hoping to mend those pieces.
yeah. And it's no one's like job to do any of that, for me, but it's nice to have like that. I don't know how to explain it. It's like it feels like I'm breaking up with someone all over again, but I'm also falling in love with someone at the same time and realizing kind of the difference between why one was all red flags I made excuses for because I wanted that person in my life, and the other one is like green flags I don't need excuses for, and we just happened upon each other at the right time. So I guess that's the most weirdly difficult thing because usually I have a lot more time to be angry. So it's also kind of nice to not be like angry at that person. I'm just like really seeing it for what it is and matter of factly taking inventory and being like, okay, well, that's not healthy. And we tried a lot. I mean, it's not the first time. It's not like broke up once and I found someone new. It's like I definitely tried over and over and over and over and had to realize my patterns and their patterns and how together it was very toxic.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know.
So
it's kind of weird.
As far as like this new relationship, are you finding it difficult to not look for red flags? You know what I mean? Where you're like you're almost on guard as like.
Oh, I was the first like 2 weeks. He would make me nervous, and I didn't trust anything as good. I was like, when you're buying stuff, you want to suck your dick or something? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, now I want to. Oh, you're sweet. I like that.
You doing something for me with no expectation? Okay,
yeah, that's
I see you.
Yeah, I don't definitely. I've been like looking, but they're not there. And it's really weird to feel safe because I'm used to just like every relationship being like, all right, let me find out what's wrong with you. And then I'll ignore it because I like you.
Yeah.
Gotta just be like, all right. I joke about being suspicious about it, but I've actually like found a lot of peace in that.
Good.
Just knowing like I can feel safe.
Yeah, that's huge.
And also I know what what I don't like very much so to where if
You're welcome.
because of Zane only, no one else.
Because of
Taking
Zane,
all the
that's
credit. No, but I do like enjoy being friends with people because I think that if you love someone, there's different kinds of love.
Sure.
And I'm very grateful that we can be friends and joke around and have a podcast together.
Yeah.
And maybe one day my ex will grow up, but also
And you'll have a podcast with them.
absolutely not. I'm just mad I accidentally empowered a straight white dude to try stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
That's the most shameful thing I've ever done.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of shame,
that is...
and speaking about not forgiving her either.
I'm glad that you're able to allow yourself to keep yourself open to like love because I know a lot of people, we get hurt We get betrayed, and then we don't want to trust, and we don't want to love, and then it's like, oh, this person into me, but like, fuck that, like,
yeah, fuck everybody.
and that could be like the best person for you in that moment, but you're like tossing them aside because it's this like, well, this person hurt me, so they're gonna hurt me. And it's not impossible for that pattern to happen, but it's not because this happened that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you just kind of
grown past that.
Yeah.
Well, my last partner was very much that person. I think that's such like a toxic dude thing. Like roll my eyes, like, oh, what, you mad at your dad? Oh, you can't love anymore. You got your heart broken. Grow up. It's like we all have.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of being vulnerable and like just
and having compassion for their vulnerability.
Just like allowing people to be like, hey, maybe you'll break my heart, but also like maybe we'll be
Maybe
friends.
I'll break yours.
I don't know. Let's fucking see who does it first.
Someone's heart's getting broken.
Reach you to it.
Yeah.
Carlos, what about you? So what's the most challenging thing you're dealing with in life right now?
Most. This question's on the list for sure. I think one of the things that's really been present is the constant hum of anxiety and discomfort.
Yes.
That is the earth reacting to what boys did. And all of the geopolitical forces that go along with that, including those that lead to circumstances that I think most people try to distance themselves from, hide from, whatever, to degrees they can. Goes back to the same thing I was talking about with the artists in the street, right? Folks who are left behind from the social contract and find themselves still surviving in these streets where most people see refuse. To me, that's a miracle, right? That's like the fact that a human body, that the breath of life would want to go into your body and come back out, respirate, be part of this whole shit. Still coming up out your tent to look around at the ground for whatever that methed out lady was looking for. I don't know. And most of the people, we just saw somebody. Most of the people,
I was like, this is a very recent experience.
Oh no, this is driving
on the way here.
And most of the folks in quote unquote safe society trying to guard themselves away from that. That is the hard part for me. It's not the seeing folks and whatever, right? Because to me, the veil between us and them is just it's thinner than paper thin.
So
that's what freaks people out.
So something that my mom had always told me, and I appreciate her so much for saying this, is that all it takes is one bad day and you could be right where they're at.
Right
there. That is something I constantly keep in my head, because it's every time I feel like I don't have compassion for somebody, or I want to try not to have compassion for somebody, I consider that, like, had I gone through the same things that they had gone through, I could literally be right in their shoes.
And when I've been in those circumstances, right, or similar circumstances, the times that somebody was kind enough to see the humanity and help you through a difficult time, help me through difficult times, that is the piece of the compassion and the vulnerability that then says to me, okay, simply because I happen to be a fancy girl now does not mean anything in terms of my interactions with folks who are in other circumstances. And having that ability to still be able to relate. Knowing that most of the folks who've been brought up in the veneer, right, of humanity and don't know the depth of what it really takes to live on this planet. That distance is the hard part for me.
It's definitely troubling and very disheartening when you see people that are reacting not to the fact that like humans are suffering, but the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Look at all this garbage.
Yeah.
Ew, look
They
at
built
all
a
these
camp.
tents. They built a camp so they can like not get rained on.
Yeah.
Gross.
Gross for real.
Bro, they built a camp. Gross.
Yeah.
Can you build a camp?
Yeah,
I
bitch.
cannot.
Damn.
When was the last time you set up a tent, bro?
Right.
Yeah.
Probably
well-
never even been camping. Damn.
No, but I think that, you know, like it's really important to have compassion for those situations because we do distance ourselves. I had heard I was listening to like a podcast or something, and they had made like the remark that, like, you know, the second that we look away from a homeless person, that's like us trying to protect ourselves. You know?
You just hiding, you hiding from you.
Yeah. Exactly. You see yourself possibly in that situation. You're like, oh man, I wouldn't want to. You know what I mean?
And this whole idea of like, I don't want to give you $1 because you're gonna do whatever. That's bullshit. You don't want to give them $1 because you're scared that you're not gonna have no more dollars if you give up $1. And you're scared of that because you're seeing somebody who needs $1.
Mhm.
So it's a very different circumstance than being worried about what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I always hated that argument where it's just, oh, they're gonna go buy drugs with it. I'm gonna go buy drugs with it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What do you do with your money,
You
bitch?
think I'm doing so much better because I'm
It's
doing drugs in my
cash.
house? Like, you know what I mean?
Cash is for drugs. That's what cash is for.
Thank you. I've been trying to tell that to
Speaking
my
the truth.
freaking to everyone.
All right, Malik, go ahead. So what's the most challenging thing you're dealing with in life right now?
Fuck. You would have thought I would have thought of something. One thing that is challenging to me right now, I'm someone who, like, it takes me a long time to become comfortable in a space or with a community of people.
Mhm.
And so this is kind of like a work thing. So I started at Step Up as an advocate over a year ago. Now it's a completely different team of advocates than we had when we started. And obviously that's the nature of the work. It's a high turnover rate. You're never going to make it to the end of the year with the same team that you started with, which is all fine. But I just noticed it gets really difficult for me to show up with the same energy with a completely different team.
person.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like, this team worked like really, really well. And then it's like this team like still trying to figure it out kind of. And comparatively, I don't even think the old team is all that much better than the new team. It's just this.
You were
one's
comfortable.
new.
Yeah.
I was comfortable. I was new when I met them, so they kind of helped me feel more like I belong there. And so it's a little bit of turbulence. It's a little bit of like low key beef existing between me and people I'm supposed to be showing up and like getting the job done with. So I struggle with that because I'm a team player. I want every space I'm in to feel like a family, which is cliche and it's not
Very cliche.
realistic. It's not always realistic or sustainable, but I'm definitely just noticing that I've been it's been affecting me where I'm coming home like kind of pissed off and like I don't want to talk to anyone because I'm like, man, this shit happened today and it's like fuck this guy and just go home. But like that's not how I had been feeling over the last year. So it's a new feeling that's coming up for me now. There's some unresolved issues that may not get resolved.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to like make peace with that before I get any more overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's I mean the most difficult part about like work problems is that like work is a place you consistently have to show up regardless of whether or not there are problems there. So it's like it's not like, oh, if this podcast, you know, we were having problems on the podcast, all right, well, we just won't go to the podcast, you know what I mean? But it's like work is you got to show up. So you have to figure out how to make some of these relationships work and then also at the same time figure out which ones are worth making work.
Yeah.
Right. And in real life, you could just be like, fuck off, leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you.
Absolutely.
But you have to be there with them every single day. You share a caseload. You have to communicate about, you know, what happened that day. So it's been a struggle. I'm practicing so intentionally. Assuming positive intentions. So
Like that.
hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
I really like that.
I don't do that.
I don't recommend it. It's not fun.
I can't.
Sometimes I just want to be pissed off that somebody's acting crazy, but
Yeah.
now I gotta empathize.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. So real quick before we wrap up, I will go over mine. That way I'm not just getting you guys to spill your guts and then dipping. So the most challenging thing and I'm dealing with in life right now, I would say it's I I think this dick pic is the best thing that ever happened to me, you know, because it's like being able to be honest about that and be like, hey, I made a mistake, and having people meet me with compassion instead of shame. That meant so much to me in a world where I believed that honesty was only ever met with shame. So to see in real life that people do have compassion, that people do have understanding, it really has meant a lot to me.
I'm going to offer this too, though, but you didn't make a mistake.
Yeah.
You didn't make a mistake. You were abused. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard to like think of it like that.
Advantage of you.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not your fault.
And right, you're supposed to like whatever. Again, that ties into all that hypermasculinity, all that bullshit. You're not supposed to be in absolute perfect control of the world. It doesn't work that way. And if these people, right, and again, I don't care gender, whatever body they in, is doing this sort of thing to another human being, they're taking advantage of trust.
Yeah.
That's an abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then threatening, that's an act of violence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You there's nothing, the shame of having been a victim of a thing, that's real.
Yeah, definitely. And blaming yourself for it, you know.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the part that I hope, right, even in this context of this discussion, that you're able to bring yourself away from, because being taken advantage of is what happens when we live in a system that's built on wage slavery and capitalist supremacies, right? You didn't do anything wrong.
Thank you.
Somebody asked you to look at your penis. You said, okay. Then they threatened you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And threatened to expose this vulnerable part of you.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? And this vulnerable thing that you did to hundreds of people or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the part that's fucked up.
Right? Yeah. Well, I appreciate that perspective, because there's a lot of shame and stuff that like went into that, but I would say that the part that I'm most grateful for was being able to walk away and not send any more money, because I was trying to, because they wanted another $300. He's like, well, I'm good, but we're gonna send it to some magazines. I was like, that's when I knew it was fake. I was like, magazines? Who cares about magazines?
Yeah.
Anybody who doesn't want to talk to me because they saw my dick in a magazine, I don't want to talk to because they're reading a magazine. You know?
I'm trying to say paper in this shit.
Yeah, for real. All right. Well, thank you guys. We're going to take a real quick commercial break. We'll be right back with a smoke break. We're here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio, as well as Pretty Dope Experience Radio.
We captured the taste and sound, only here on Open Country. Sundays noon to 1 with your host Anti-Vandal. Folk music with Anti-Vandal. We captured the taste and sound on this Open Country. Noon to 1 Sundays with your host Anti-Vandal. Here on Shady Pines Radio.
All right, and we are back with a smoke break. We're here every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Shady Pines Radio, as well as Pretty Dope Experience Radio. I'm your host, your old pal Zane, here with Malik Rayshawn. Hi. Mandolin Deal.
Hi, friends.
And Carlos Kareem Windham.
People are saying things after their names.
Hey. You're damn right. I just want to shout out to everybody in the chat who's been dropping in. Something that somebody said, I don't think shame is ever helpful. It prevents people from actually acknowledging their wrongdoings. It's thinking I'm bad rather than this.
I'm bad.
This I did was bad. I shouldn't do that. Yeah. Basically, it's just the idea that like the thing that I did was bad, not that you are bad. So I think it's a really good.
If you're a shitty person, then you never have to get better because I'm just shitty.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate that.
Instead
It's
of being like, there's a way.
I'm just an asshole. No, fuck you.
Instead of thinking that there's a way that like if I stop doing this thing, then I can feel better about myself. So cool. I just wanted to acknowledge you guys. I appreciate everybody in the chat. My favorite part of the show, asking people what they're excited for. I like to see what makes people light up, and I'm curious. Carlos, tell me what are you excited for?
I am. Well, honestly, I'm excited to be spending the day with my friend Amanda Lindell.
Hey.
Dead ass. We
Yeah.
this morning,
Mm-hmm.
this afternoon, morning for comedians.
Yeah.
I love
We're co-hosting an event that we produce called The Fucks of Life.
Yes.
Great poster.
Great poster.
Yeah.
Great poster.
Great comedians.
Yes.
And it's a good time. Happens over at Alberta Street Pub. After this, later tonight, we are going to Sanctuary.
Laphrodisiac.
Yeah.
Laphrodisiac.
Mhm.
And I will be at my first sex club for this. Thank you. I'm certain it's going to go better than it did at my first strip club. So I'm excited to see the difference.
Yeah.
And to
Yes,
see a lot
yeah.
of consensuality
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah, and that I did that show a long ass time ago, and those people were they were so open to just laughing and enjoying
Gross.
themselves. I know, I hated it.
So open.
Yeah.
To enjoying themselves, I'd say they were gaping to enjoy themselves.
Again.
You got two.
They were just swollen and gorged to enjoy, just dripping with moisture, just down the thigh, enjoying themselves.
I should have brought my paper for
Yeah, for real. Yeah, can I borrow it? Awesome. No, I'm excited for you, and I'm really excited for the show. Shout out that show real quick, just in case there's local cats that want to come watch a really cool show with really cool people.
Shout it out. I don't know the Sanctuary or something.
Club Sanctuary, 8 p.m. It's called Laphrodisiac. I booked my friends from the Fucks of Life, of course, because they're all very funny people. So I have Carlos Kareem Windham, Angelique Harrington, Mixdalia Bell, and Anthony Robinson is also on that show as well.
Nice.
And I get to host it now and produce it, which I'm very grateful for. I also love just like having another woman produce and host anything is nice for me, but also in a space that is like very open and sexual. I want to book more not straight white dudes just to make it more safe.
Beautiful. Amanda, what are you excited for?
I'm also excited for that show tonight. Second Saturday is becoming my favorite day of the month because I get to do both. And I'm just excited for I get to go to San Francisco for a comedy festival. I'm really excited for that. I get to see my grandpa, who's my favorite person in the entire world, and he's the funniest person I've ever met. Sorry, everyone in this room and everyone listening, you're not funny. My grandpa's funnier than you. No, I love him so much. Every time I call and check in, he's just like, well, I'm not dead yet. I'm like, okay, hold on. I'll be there soon. He's like, all right, I'll wait for you. So if he dies after this trip, he did promise me he would wait.
Yeah, honestly. Man of his word. You got to appreciate that. You got to appreciate that.
This is me.
My bitch. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited for life. I'm just, I've been dealing with anxiety in different forms, but I've been like really trying to like unpack it and unpick it and like not carry it around as much.
Yeah.
And a lot of anxiety comes from not feeling safe or not feeling secure in who you are. And so I think just like being in spaces around people that make you feel safe is a great way to not feel anxious, but also like reminding yourself of who the fuck you are and not letting like outside things affect you, but let you more affect your environment, which is easier said than done.
Absolutely.
But to kind of check in when you're feeling that like everything's falling apart, just be like, no, it's not. It's not. I'm okay. I got it. You know,
exactly. Or it is falling apart and I got it.
Or it is and I'm watching it. Yeah, I'm watching the chaos and be like, whatever.
Honestly, I think there's a lot of control that you gain by relinquishing control. You know, or your desire to control things. You know, the as soon as you allow things to just be, then you can focus on what you can do. You know, trying to get people to like you that will never like you is the 100% way to distract yourself from becoming the person that you would like.
So be the person that you wish you met when you needed, you know, like a mentor or a friend or whatever. I think that's like a cool little mantra I try and remember. Just be, you know, be the person you wish you saw more of in the world. You know?
Absolutely.
Smile at people, be nice. But don't smile. But don't smile because men tell you to. Smile for you.
Smile because you told a man to smile.
And they didn't like it and it made you smile bigger.
Exactly. Smile for the right reasons.
That makes me think of this quote from a movie called Robots, which I literally live by. This quote is see a need, fill a need.
I love it.
Super simple, but it's like if you see, you know, that there's a certain type of mentorship or leadership lacking, do it.
It's very Spider-Man-like. Spider-Man-like.
Come on now. Great power, great responsibility. We've been here.
Flip, nigga.
Flip, nigga. the new tagline for the podcast.
And now Spider-Man can actually say "thwit thwit," nigga.
That's right.
Miles
That's right.
Morales,
Miles.
maybe.
Yeah, shout out
Only
Miles
that's
Morales.
Spider-Man.
That shit break his fucking neck. Oh, I'm Spider-Man too.
Break all 8 of those legs. Yeah.
Why does Peter Parker sound like a 12-year-old girl now? That's what I want to know.
I'm Spider-Man too.
This is what Carlos thinks white people sound like.
Mickey Mouse.
I
Is that
mean,
not
it's
right?
pretty
Yeah, that's not-
accurate. It's pretty
They're like,
accurate.
yo, I need corrected. I will apologize and be accountable if I need to be.
I met your new boyfriend. I was like, he was like, hello, I'm your new boyfriend.
Is he British Mickey Mouse?
Yeah, everyone, they're all Tom Holland. They're all. I figured white people are all over here,
Yeah.
and they are actors, and they have a British accent.
And they're all Tom
shows
Holland.
up when they're relaxed.
Yeah.
and they're all Tom Holland.
I think 75, at least 60 to 70% of white people are Tom Holland.
Can't prove it, they're not.
Science, science.
Malik, what are you excited for?
I'm excited to be.
Crack this code on Tom Holland.
I'm doing.
I'm excited to have a black Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Take that, white America. I'm excited to have a black Shaggy, even though I still don't know how I feel about it.
What?
I'm curious, right? What? Wait, that's his nickname though. What did they say his name is now?
His government is Norville.
Norville,
Like his actual
which is
name.
black as shit,
Right?
You ain't never met a white Norville in your life.
Not once.
No.
I've never met a Norville. I'll be real with you.
Okay, all right.
Have you met a Norville?
Orville? Yeah. Oh, I thought it's Orville or Norville.
Norville.
I was gonna say like
I've met an
Redenbacher,
Orville.
like the popcorn.
That's
Yeah.
But that's Orville.
That was a white guy.
Yeah.
But
Right,
see,
right,
it's a really big letter missing from that in N.
Right.
And we know what that stands
You know what
for.
that is. And don't lean into that R too hard.
Orville.
Don't lean into the R too hard. Don't lean into the R. Minnie Kaling is doing a new Scooby Doo.
She's gonna be Velma?
Recast the whole shit. Gay ass
Yeah.
Velma.
Okay, cool.
Which we all knew.
Yeah.
Heavily implied, never said out loud.
Everyone's POC except for a white dude, Fred.
Freddie.
Freddie,
And
you
I'm
can't
not
make it.
mad.
I wouldn't want a
He's
white
gotta be
Freddy.
white.
Yeah, black
So-
Freddy.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone told me they
He's a
had to
dumb
keep
bro.
like one white person on the main
token.
cast, not to alienate.
yeah,
you know,
for real.
we don't want to alienate our white audience.
Yeah.
We know
I think
y'all
it just
like to be
speaks a lot to how
represented.
cool Freddie must be if he's hanging out with that many black people.
That's true.
You know
That's
what I mean?
true.
And gay
Or-
people. Freddie sounds dope as fuck.
Yeah.
Dude's an ally.
I hope they don't make him like deplorable because I feel like that's the type when I see that group,
You
right?
gonna put on a baseball cap. Oh no, it's been you all along. I'd have gotten away with it too if it weren't for the goddamn committee for January 6th.
Oh no, I'm mad that Scooby's not in it though. That's
They're not gonna have a dog.
Scooby-
No,
not.
there's no Scooby.
What
like
the fuck?
zero.
Nigga, I'm not even
You're
watching.
glad about
Thank
that?
you. No,
I'm
I'm mad.
Oh, I thought you said you're good. Like glad
No.
about it. I was
Oh,
like,
I'm out.
But to be fair, that to me does clearly
The white
separate
Scooby
it
Doo. You're like, this is
from
weird.
what I grew up with. Like this is not for me, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm gonna say though? It also makes sense because if Black Shaggy, like, ain't no brother running around with a dog all the time like that. That's
Smoking that much
right.
weed?
Yeah.
That's some Snoop Dogg
the
shit.
Great Dane. Like,
Yeah.
that ain't it.
No.
That dog's too big.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
See, if Shaggy was running around with a golden retriever,
I believe
you know,
it.
Yeah,
I believe it.
Yeah.
That's a dog for a high nigga.
You know what? I bet you they wanted to make Scooby a pit bull, but they didn't have that clearance.
Yeah.
Because we know, if you didn't know this, pit bulls are literally the black and brown people of dogs. Like, I kid you not. It's so real.
You know this. You know that.
Yes, they're perceived danger, but they're really sweethearts.
Yes,
Yeah,
no
they're the
danger
best.
actually
Yeah.
there.
I think they're proven to be like the safest dogs to be around children and
I
like
wonder if they
babies.
do like dogs and they do it with each other the same way we do it, like darker black dudes.
Like dogs cross the street when they see a pit bull.
See other pit bulls like, oh shit, nigga, hold up.
Got a mastiff?
boxer,
Oh,
nigga.
hell no.
Move. Lock your window.
what are you excited for, Zane?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Nobody saw that wink.
Nah, it's not obvious at all. Winking the camera.
Yeah. But which side did I do it? What am I excited for?
Yeah.
I'm excited I've really just been like diving into like my self-help journey, and I got Blinkist. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it basically
No.
condenses self-help books into 15 minutes, which you can
good.
listen to as audiobooks. I, as somebody who doesn't have a lot of time and is constantly driving, found that to be extremely helpful.
Dope.
So being able to just pick up different things and just really reassess my view of the world, because I feel like I've created this story in my head, And I almost need that story to be true in order for me to continue to operate the way that I am. I have to believe that, the world's out to get you. You have to believe that, you're not liked. You have to believe all these things about yourself to continue operating under the, assumption that you aren't anything. Mm-hmm. But to believe, like you said, positively and to assume, positive intention, that's something I'm trying to work on, just because I believe that believing that everyone has negative intention isn't getting me fucking anywhere. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's genuinely isn't. It hasn't gotten me anywhere. But believing that people are well-intended has really just changed my whole perspective. There's people who I thought didn't like me that, like, once I approached with the lens of they could like me, I was able to enjoy them as a person. I think they were able to enjoy me because they could tell I wasn't holding myself back out of fear
looking for like red flags, kind of like we mentioned earlier as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, waiting and looking for red flags. So definitely, I think being able to put a lot of that stuff behind me and a lot of just negative thought processes that I was just recycling, being able to put a lot of that stuff behind me has just really. It's been honestly a really good week. I recorded a new song. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to show you guys right after this. So yeah. I'm actually really proud of it.
Don't worry, guys. I'll leak it.
Yeah.
And a dick pic.
Package deal. Follow us on Patreon.
Emphasis on the package.
Hey, pew. All right. Well, I've been Zane Thomas. This has been the Smoke Break. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. This has been Malik Rayshawn, Amanda Lindeo.
Bye, friends.
And Carlos Kareem Windham. They waved on a podcast. It's also video.
I waved.
They waved. It's fine.
They're moving to the camera.
Thank you guys so much.